Here comes a new challenger!
Hello there everyone, and welcome to the Road to E3 2021, and in this episode we'll be covering Capcom and what I like to see from them. And there's only a few major things I'd like to discuss real quick. Let's start small. Street Fighter. I just want to see who the last fighter is. And when it comes to the last fighter, I obviously am talking about the DLC. They still haven't revealed who it is yet, and obviously we have Akira and Oro left to go, but I think it's possible for us to see that final fighter, especially during E3 of all times. It makes sense. Another thing to go over real quickly is Resident Evil 8. I do expect it to have DLC, and I'd like to see what it entails. More story content, whatever the case may be, extra modes. Personally, I'm just so tired of just following Ethan and Chris. I want to see more. Leon, perhaps? You know? Hey, here's a big conspiracy thing. Even though the director said that Wesker would show up no more, we never did see a body, and you know Resident Evil always showing bodies everywhere, so what makes Wesker's any different? I think it'd be interesting to see Wesker return in some way somehow. I doubt he will. It has been, well, a couple games canon-wise that he hasn't really showed up, so, well, hopefully we see something in relation to Wesker. Obviously there is the matter of his son and other characters that showed up during Resident Evil 6. Where are they? Like Ada, where is she? Only time will tell. But hopefully we get to see more of the Resident Evil cast soon. Next, Marvel vs. Capcom. I would love to see a Marvel 4. Please, I want to see it. Or any vs. Capcom game made by them at all. Preferably I'd like to see Ruby Heartmaker return in any of these games. She was my favorite in 2, but I guess Capcom may not fulfill those wishes after all. But who knows, maybe we could see a versus game by them anytime soon. It'd be very interesting to see. And while we're on the topic of Versus series, I would also love to see a new Project X Zone. Well, you know, with this time, obviously Capcom, Namco, and Sega are the main ones, but hey, why not add Nintendo fully? I mean, we already had Crown Lucina and Fiora as part of the last one, and obviously there were other cameos too, but I think it'd be interesting to see more Nintendo-related characters in the game. I think it'd be fun, and a great new game for the Switch, if I do say so myself. And while we're still on the topic of fighting games, there are a couple other few that I just want to talk about, such as SNK vs. Capcom, Capcom vs. SNK, one of the two, it doesn't really matter. Of course, the SNK ones will have to be on the SNK side of things, but Capcom vs. SNK 2 would be great to see. Me personally, I'd love to see it. It would be interesting to have a new Power Stone. After all, it has been quite a bit since the last one, so that'd be fun to see. What else in terms of fighting game content? Well, obviously, there are things like Darkstalkers and the like, and while I think it'd be cool to have a new Darkstalkers game, I just want Capcom to revitalize old IPs and, well, just bring them to the limelight. Especially old fighting game IPs, which they definitely had a ton of back then, so it'd be interesting to say the least. And whilst we did get Ghosts and Goblins as of recent, I would love to see a game featuring the Red Arbiter, whatever it's called, you know, the Red Flying Nuisances. Well, he has his own game, and I'd like to see it get a sequel. I just forgot the name of it, for whatever reason. But I'll post it on screen, so I'll remember it by then. But still, it'd be interesting to play a new game featuring him. He was in the SNES Online, there's a game there, so who knows, it'd be interesting to see some older Capcom stuff show up. And now for the last major thing I want to talk about, Mega Man. We haven't really seen much of Mega Man, anything new, since 11, and if we're talking about collections, then the last thing we ever saw of Mega Man was the Zero Collection with ZX. Personally, I would love to see, this is what I'm thinking, I would love to see a Battle Network collection featuring all the Battle Network games, and then one with all the Star Force games. I think it'd be great. Now, as for Legends, there are only 2 games. I think it would be interesting if Capcom actually finished Mega Man Legends 3. According to notes, it was almost done by the time it was cancelled, so who knows, maybe they can just dig up those old files, and who knows, maybe even release it alongside a collection of Legends 1, 2, and Tron Bond Adventures, perhaps. After all, that's really, you know, Legends for me isn't my series personally, but I would love to see a new Battle Network, maybe. As for me personally, I'd love to see a sequel to Mega Man ZX Advent, as that game left off in a cliffhanger, similarly to Mega Man Legends 2. Just anything Mega Man X9, X8 left on a cliffhanger as well. There's just so much Mega Man I'd want to see. Please, Capcom, please! And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. This one was much shorter, but despite the shortness and length, I think that it covers a lot of what I really do want to see from Capcom. Capcom's had a lot of IPs, but so many of them I really just don't recognize off the top of my head. So hopefully we see more of what Capcom has in store, but I doubt we'll see that much of what I mentioned. With that all being said, please take care of yourselves, and as always, have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!
I'm coming through, partner, we can do this right. You're the fire, I'm the wind tonight. Burning dread, haha, that's right, baby.